you guys? It's your favorite couple, Rich and Phonz, and we're back with another video.
This is a little bit of a different kind of video. As y'all may know, if you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff at Rich and Phonz. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, make sure you go subscribe. And if you're not new, welcome back. But yeah, if y'all follow us on some of our social media, then you'll know that recently we had a little bit of a scare with Uncle Phonz here, and caused us to be scared. And yeah, so we're doing a little bit of a different kind of video today, just talking about like what that experience was like and the kind of things that we was going through. So yeah, let's get into this video.
Jolly Rich and Phonz, we gon' have a lot of fun. Jolly Rich and Phonz, we gon' have a lot of fun. Jolly and Rich and Phonz, we're gonna have some fun. Jolly Rich and Phonz, we gon' have a lot of fun. Jolly Rich and Phonz, we gon' have a lot of fun. Jolly and Rich and Phonz, we're gonna have some fun.
Starters, for weeks I've been feeling like I was tired. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I had to get an asthma pump, and I just thought it was COVID. Well, I never took the test, but I just figured maybe I got the Omicron virus or
Omicron,
whatever.
baby, Omicron.
Same thing, Omicron. So I just kind of wrote it out because I already had COVID multiple times. So this felt like it was that, but in this case it was a little bit worse. To the point where it got to where, if I got out of bed or if I started walking, I couldn't even really do that. Like I felt I was going to pass out, shortness of breath, headaches. So I just figured that it was COVID, right?
The longest lasting COVID ever. And I started figuring it was just in his head, because we went to doctors, y'all. We was like, we went to multiple different doctors. One of them is like, oh, just here's an asthma pump. Another one gave him a prescription for some like cough stuff or something like that. And they're doing all these tests and everything is like, nope, we don't see nothing, everything's good, blah 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 blah. And he just kept, it was like it would be on and off. Like there'd be like 3-4 days where he's perfectly fine himself, he's getting up, like cleaning the house, just doing mad crazy rambunctious stuff, will never sit down. And then it's like the next day he'll stand up and start coughing and like, oh, I need to take a break. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This boy is crazy. Yeah, so
I knew you kind of felt that way too. You're like, boy, what? Like that shit's in your head. But it's like I kind of started to feel like it was in my head too, because it was like so long that it was happening. It was like over a month that I've been feeling that way. And I'm like, maybe I'm just getting lazy because I didn't really want to do anything. I tried to get busy and like move around and stuff like that. But the more that I moved around, it felt like it kept getting worse. And not only that, one of the doctors I went to, they gave me these pills and they said it was supposed to help for COVID or whatever. That actually, I felt like that made it worse. I felt like my heart was just racing like nonstop, like racing. That made it, on top of not being able to breathe, my heart's moving fast or whatever.
So it was like 2-3 days straight that Phonz was just like out of it, like couldn't do stuff. Matter of fact, when we shot that video, with the hot cocoa balls and him and
we did
Young Prince.
We also did the other one, name the lyrics. What was it?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Finish the lyrics.
Yeah,
so when we finished the lyrics, I didn't notice it that he was going through it shooting that video, but with making the cocoa bombs with him and Young Prince, man, it took so long to shoot that video because it was like every time they said a line, you'll notice like the chopping in there. There's nothing that's like a smooth segment. It's like he'll say something and then it'll chop to another. Every time he said a line, he would stop and be like, oh my goodness, I need a break, I can't breathe. And I'm just looking at him like, oh my goodness, like, do you not want to do this? Like, is it stressing you out? You don't want to make this video? I couldn't figure it out, but looking at that video, you can't tell because of the editing, but we were stopping after every line that Phonz said. So he was like coughing and like, I can't breathe and let's hurry up and get this done and whatever case may be. So yeah, that was really tough looking back on it. Yeah, he was going through all that when we made that video. But it was the day after we made that video, and he got up early in the morning. He always gets up with young Prince and like gets his cereal and stuff because I don't like getting up early. And I hear like boom, boom, bang, bang, and then I hear him like, and I freaking fly out of the bedroom, and he's standing over the sink, just holding the sink, like trying to get like his
crazy?
life together or something. And I'm like, that's enough. Like, we're going to the emergency room right now.
Before you actually came out, I actually laid on the floor, and I was trying to catch my breath because I felt like if I got up, then like I can't breathe when I was up. So I was actually laying on the floor. And then I got up and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and at that point I was just like, I've had enough of this. Like, we're going to the emergency room right now. And we all got dressed, and sure enough, it's crazy because the emergency room's like, you can't go with him. You know what I mean? So I had to like drop him at the door and leave. And I also had to work, but even if I didn't, I couldn't go with him. So I dropped him off, and I'm just sitting there waiting for his call or whatever. And he's texting me as things are happening, and they're, doing all these tests. And first thing they seen was that your oxygen was like super dangerously low.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure was really high. Yeah. And he's texting me all this, and then he's like, they're admitting me into the hospital. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, but then it was also relieving because I'm like, that's good. They're finding something like they're going to be able to do something because these doctors keep just saying nothing's wrong. Here's an asthma pump, or nothing's wrong. It's just a cold or something stupid like that. It's like, there's nothing you can do with that but deal with it. But the fact that they were saying like, we're admitting you to the hospital and we see this, that, and the other thing, to me was like, this is good news because they're going to be able to fix whatever's happening for you so you can go back to like living vibrantly.
They did a few x-rays and stuff like that. A lot of testing. So then, I had multiple doctors come in or whatever, and one of the doctors, like, he didn't want to say anything because he saw my face, and I was just like, not that I was like sad or anything, but I didn't want to be in the hospital. I was like over it. I wanted to work, and like,
He was working from his hospital bed, y'all. Like, I was cursing him out. This bro would not put down his computer. He's in the hospital bed, like, can't even get up to go to the bathroom without practically passing out, but still wants that computer next to him. Like, no, I want to work.
Yeah, I was so pissed because I wanted to work, and I felt like in the hospital, all I could see was walls, and then they only had like a few movies that you could choose from. They didn't have Netflix or nothing. A few movies that you could choose from. So for that kind of got my attention. I was kind of hyped about work, and I log on, and I'm talking to my manager or whatever. She's like, hey, how's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, she's like, oh yeah, you're approved from FMLA. And I'm like, what? She was like, yeah, you're approved from FMLA. Take care of yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna still work. She's like, no, you need to go home.
Right
I was
now.
so mad. I was like, what the hell? He comes in the room, and I'm like, did you tell my manager? And he was like, yeah, you need to rest. And I was over it, y'all.
You need to rest. You hear how you say that? Because he think I'm very white. You need to rest.
No, I was trying to do a New York accent.
You need to rest, B.
Yeah.
So what did they tell you? So we found out that he has severe lung infection, walking pneumonia, like all types of shit is going on, and none of these other doctors could find it. Thank God these ones did. So he was in the hospital for how long?
Like almost a week.
I think it was a week, maybe a week and a day or something like that. But yeah, it was really intense, y'all. Like, my boy was tore up. Like, he could not get out of the bed. I tried to get him to get in the shower one day, and it was like he took like 3 steps towards the shower and stopped and was like, no, I can't do it, and turned around, went back to the bed. It was like so heartbreaking for me, like imagining knowing that like he can't breathe and can't do things that are like so normal and just everyday things that we take for granted. Like, that was really difficult seeing that. And and then we started like working with the machine where you blow into the machine, and
I can't do that.
He was getting on my nerves. I was sitting there like his daddy. I was there like day in and day out. I was like coming there first thing in the morning and going to sleep in the bed, and it was just long days and long nights, but just glad that we got through it. But yeah, they had this the machine that you gotta like blow all your air out and then suck as much as you can in the machine, and the ball like goes up and down and stuff. And I did it to show him how to do it, and I got it all the way up to the top in one breath, and then he did it, and it will go like and then he started trying to cheat the system, I remember one day I wasn't there and you sent me a picture of the thing all the way at the top. And I look at it, I'm like, oh shit, he's doing it, getting better. And then I get to the hospital, I'm like, show me, do it. And this guy, he going, I'm like, no, you cheated. It's just one breath. Just, he like, and it's like, I'm like, oh man, you cheated the system, but it's all good. Yeah, and then we had like, the nurse will come get him out the room and he will walk with the machine with the oxygen on his finger, and we would have to like walk around the floor every day, and if it dropped below a certain number, I think if it hit like 89 or less than 90, then he would have to stop and go lay back down. And the first day it started dropping like halfway down the first hallway, and we did halfway and cut back through the middle and went back to the room. And then the next day we did around the whole thing, and it was like staying up to like 95, 96, and then it went to like 92, and then it hit 89 real quick, and then jumped back to 92. And I'm looking at him like, nah, that was a glitch. That was just system. He's great. Let's keep it going. But yeah, it was. How did you feel? Like, what was the worst part of that for you?
I think it was just scary because, you know, I didn't really know what was going on with my body, and you know, but also before that, you know, one of the doctors came in, and you know, I knew something was wrong because he looked at me like he didn't want to tell me, and then he came right back, and then when he was in there, no, you actually wasn't. You were there on the third time that he came in. So like the second time he came in and he was like, you know, I don't really know how to tell you this, but he was like, you're not supposed to be here right now. He was like, if you would have waited a day or so, you would have probably been dead. Like, your lungs right now are horrible. Like, they're really bad. Like, that's exactly what he said. Like, your lungs are like, I don't know how you're here right now. And he was like, you know, good thing that you came in. He was like, we're going to try to, you know, definitely work on them. I guess they were covered in some gunk or whatever. And, you know, they weren't looking
good at all. So, I remember that because you called me. I wasn't there. You called me. And you was just crying, and he was like, they said it's really bad. And I was pissed off because I'm like, what kind of doctor comes in? Like, I understand you gotta tell people the truth, but there's a way, like there's a bedside manner. You don't just come in and be like, oh, this is horrible, you fucked up, like this is bad, you lucky you still alive. Like, what? I would have, I mean, how do you expect somebody to respond to that? Like, you could have said like, thankfully you're here. We're going to do everything that we can, and everything's going to be all right now that you're here, but this was really serious, and we're glad you're here. Like, something. You don't come in there and be like, you are horrible, this is horrible.
He actually did. So I had like a nice face, straight face or whatever. I was excited to see the doctor because they weren't telling me nothing. So when he told me that, I just started crying, and he was just like, oh shit, I don't fuck up. And he was like, oh no, but you're young, so we could try to fix this. We could try to fix. Don't cry. And I'm like, you just told me I'm about to die, nigga. Like,
right.
But yeah, I think that was definitely the horrible part. And then like, you know, being able to, you know, like he said on the first day, like I couldn't really walk around the thing, so that was kind of pissing me off because I'm like, I like to be active. I like to move. You know, get up, clean, you know, do what I have to do, and, you know, walk around, like, be active. You know, the first day was horrible. The second day, I was doing good, and then, like out of nowhere, it just started going doom. So that just also discouraged me because it made me feel like, okay, like, when am I going to get better? Or, you know, what the hell is going on? Like, what the hell? Like, you know, I don't know. It just made me look at life in a different perspective and just cherish, you know, every moment that I have because you don't know.
Yeah, it was hard, y'all. It was like most of the days everything was bad. Like, it wasn't until really like the last 2 or 3 days that we even started to see any type of improvement. Like, it was really bad. And then I know my boy was fucked up because every day they had to come in, he had to take mad pills. He does not swallow pills, y'all. Like, I told the nurse, she came in with like 5 pills the first time I seen her, and she like handed him these pills, like, you gotta swallow these. And I'm like, y'all ain't got no liquid? And she was like, no, not all of them come in liquid. I'm like, all right, well, can you crush them up or something? I said, because if you stand there and wait for him to swallow those pills, you going into overtime, my girl. Like, you getting paid big money if you waiting for him to swallow that pill. But they got him all crushed up. They got him a crusher for his pills and stuff, and he had to have a shot in his stomach every morning.
No, I try to be sneaky, like, cause I'll get a different nurse each time. So typically they do it like mid shift or whatever, like in the afternoon, or whatever. So I got a new nurse during that time, and I'm like trying to have conversations with her, trying to distract her and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, didn't it? Like, I think it hit like 1. I'm like, ooh, they didn't even give me my stomach shot yet. He was like, I think you said, oh yeah, you're gonna get those every day. I'm like, no, you're not. And you're like, yeah, Graham said you're gonna get those every day. And I was like, well, they didn't give it to me. And the next thing you know, she comes in, rolling in, and then she takes out the wrapper. I'm like, oh, what's that? She's like, oh yeah, your shot for today. And I was like, let's go. She's like, your stomach again.
Yo, I wish y'all could see this boy get that shot. He'd be laying there, he'd be like,
oh, just thinking about it. Oh.
But apparently, that's why I pray I never get admitted into the hospital. Because that's a shot they give to everybody. Like, anytime you're admitted to the hospital, you're going to be there for multiple days. You got to get a shot in your stomach. It's for, like, to keep from getting blood clots because you're laying down all day. So, like, everybody gets a shot in their stomach once a day. Like, it's a lunch meal or something. I'm like, oh, my goodness, this is insane. Before all this stuff started happening, before the hospital, before any of that, I was me and my regular old sneaky self. Me and Phonz have been talking about marriage, and you know I'm a super sarcastic asshole if you ask me. So even though I know that like I'm gonna be with Phonzo for the rest of my life, and you know I would love to marry him, anytime it come up, you know, I don't know, just out of the blue in conversation, I'll be like, nah, I ain't getting married. Fuck that, I ain't getting married. You know what I mean? Just being an asshole, knowing damn well that that's bullshit. But so I was like, Phonz, let's throw a housewarming because we haven't done a housewarming since we moved into our new apartment. And we were going to invite Phonz's family who lives here in Florida. And my grandmother is actually going to be coming to Florida to visit us just, you know, because she wants to. And I was like, let's have our housewarming during that time. So then that way Graham can meet your family. We can have a housewarming, little party for everybody to come together. And we invited everybody to this housewarming, and I'm in the background. I called the whole officiant, found an officiant, and was planning to surprise everybody in that housewarming and propose. And then if Phonz said yes, which I'm sure he would, because he said many, many times that he wanted to be married and to marry me. So I was going to have the officiant there and be like, all right, cool, now let's get married right now. So it would have been like a surprise proposal / wedding all in one. Now Phonz ends up in the hospital and is going through all this stuff, and you know, it's just really down, depressed, like scared, just nothing really positive going on in that moment. We were just in a really dark place and really scared, and you know, I was like, screw it, and just told him like, I want to marry you, and this is what I was planning, and blah, blah, blah. So you need to hurry up and get better, and like, you need to fight so we can go home and get married. So that's how that surprise ended. And it's hot out here.
Yeah, it is.
And so with that, I was like, we might as well, you know, tell everybody. Ain't no sense in it being a surprise just for them, you know, that way people can actually come dressed, you know, a little bit more formally or whatever the case may be, and we'll just have a wedding. And we decided that we're going to get married on February 22nd, 2022, baby. So yeah, and that's the plan. So that's the announcement. Rich and Phonz is officially getting married.
Wait, which ring does it go on now? This one, right?
Yeah, when we get married, we're going to switch it
okay.
to the other one. So yeah, we're getting married. Super excited about that. Can't wait. It's going to be a small, COVID-friendly
event
ceremony, and just our closest.
With people in our family who can't make it and stuff like that too.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just going to be our closest family and friends here at our house are going to join us for that special moment, and we're going to get married on 2/22/22, and then Phonz always said that he wanted a beach wedding, so we're gonna have a big recommitment type ceremony, hopefully next year, and that will invite everybody out and make that happen. So we'll have a big wedding down the road, but we locking in that date this month, the 22nd. Rich and Phonz get married, but that also, oh shit.
What? Work?
Oh goodness.
Work?
Yeah. Hold this.
This?
I never got a chance to propose to you.
Yeah. Yo. Yo, he put an acorn here.
Wait, don't make me laugh. So like this seed, early on we struggled to find our way. We tried and failed again. But when we learned to fight together and nurture each other, we found our footing and began to grow. We've grown roots, created a family, and became as strong as this oak tree will ever dream to be. And long after we're gone, the world will know the magic we have between you and me, through this symbol of our love and the strength of this oak tree. Know that I love you today, I love you tomorrow, and I love you through eternity. Tomorrow or 10 years from now, I don't know where we'll be, but I know we'll be okay if you, Alfonso, Jason, Wembley Poole, will do me the honor of marrying me.
Oh, stop.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.
With that being said, we are getting married. Stay tuned for that. We're gonna make sure we shoot it for y'all. Y'all are invited. We're gonna drop the invitation at the end of this video for y'all. And until next time, we love y'all. It's not an acorn.
It is an acorn. I'm gonna keep it.
It's an oak tree seed.
It's an acorn.